Hi, Deirdre McNamara here from Letterkenny IT. Today we're going to take a look at some algebra. And I think the first thing I need to say is don't panic. We take this from the very, very beginning stages, and we just take you to a stage where you're able to do business maths, which actually oftentimes is algebra. Okay, sometimes you actually can do algebra and it's in your head, but you don't actually realize that you're doing algebra. So looking at these very simple questions here, you've got 3 pens and they cost €6. First of all, how much is 1 pen without using a calculator? And then if you know the price of 1 pen, how much would it be for 7 pens? Okay, now some of you might be able to do that in your head. So another one, 2 pints cost €10. Can you work out how much 1 pint is? And then if you know the price of 1 pint, can you then go forward and work out how much it would be for 3 pints? Okay, so most people can do the first two in their heads. Don't panic if you can't. You can do it. We'll learn how to do it on the calculator. And the third one here is 17,892 grams of carrots cost 87.92. How much is it for 1 gram? Not so easy. Then if you know the price of 1 gram, how much is it for 3,000 grams? Now the point of this one here is to show you that even if you can do the simple ones in your head, you have to fully understand the method. Okay? Because when the numbers get difficult, you won't be able to do it in your head anymore. Okay? You need to be able to do it in the calculator. Okay, so it's really important to understand the method you've used and then be able to replicate it when the numbers are a little bit more difficult in here. Okay, so and that's why we need to be able to work it out on a calculator. Okay, so going back to the original one, okay, how do you do it in a formal way? Some of you were able to do it in your heads, but the main thing we need to work out is how to do it in a formal way. Okay, step number 1 is write the problem in the language of maths. Okay, so in the original question, it says 3 pens cost €6. 3 pens cost. So we have to write this out in the language of maths. Okay, so 3 pens, not costs anymore, equals €6. Okay, that's writing it in the language of maths. Okay, now we need to find the price of 1 pen. Okay, and there's a rule in algebra that says do the same to the both sides of the equals. If you do something over here, you have to do the same thing over here, and that keeps them equal on either side of the equal sign. Okay, so we've 3 pens over here, but we want to end up with 1 pen. Okay, so we need to divide this by 3 to get 1. Okay, so we must do the same over here, which is divide this by 3. So 3 by 3 gives us 1. Okay, so 6 divided by 3 gives us 2. Okay, so we now have the price 1 pen costs €2. Okay, and then we wanted to find out how much it would be for 7 pens. Okay, so we have 1 pen. We're going to multiply it. Sometimes I use a star because people get confused when I use an X. 1 pen star 7. Okay, 1 pen multiplied by 7. So we have to do the same over here. So 2 multiplied by 7. So 7 pens. 1 multiplied by 7 is 7. 2 multiplied by 7 is 14. So 7 pens equals 14. Okay, so you might have been able to do this first one in your head, and now we've stepped it out and we've worked out what the method was, and we're now able to do it on a calculator as well as in your head. Okay. So we're going to do exactly the same then with pints. So the first thing we'll do then is we'll write it in the language of maths. So 2 pints equals €10. Okay, now find the price of 1. So bring the thing you don't know onto one side and bring everything else to the other. Okay, so we're going to divide. We have 2 pints here, but we want 1. So if we divide both sides by 2, then we'll get 1 pint on this side and we'll get the money on the other side. So 2 divided by 2 gives us 1. So we end up with 1 pint on this side of the equals, on the left hand side of the equals, and 10 divided by 2 gives us 5. Okay, and so we didn't want to know the price of 1 pint, we wanted to know the price of 3 pints. So 1 pint multiplied by 3 will give us 3 pints, and then 5 multiplied by 3 gives us 15. So we end up with 3 pints equals 15 euros. So doing carrots, which was the more complicated one, we've worked out how to do it for the simple ones, and now we look at it and apply this to the more complicated one. So we get 17,892 grams of carrots equals 87.92 euro. Okay, so we want to find out the price of 1 gram of carrots. So we do the same to the both sides of the equals. So we divide both sides by 17,892 and we get 1 gram of carrots on the left hand side, and then 87.92 divided by 17,892 on your calculator gives you 0.00491. Okay, so 1 gram, one tiny amount of carrot equals that. So we want to multiply, we actually want 3,000 grams of carrots. So we multiply by 3,000 both sides. So we get 3,000 grams of carrots equals 0.00491 multiplied by 3,000 gives us 14.7414, and then we can round it off a bit. So it's 1474 is 3,000 grams of carrots. Okay, so we've learnt our first rule of algebra. Do the same to both sides of the equation. So here we're going to do another one. So we use a supplier for stationery that has a fixed delivery charge of €5 regardless of how much you order. So it doesn't matter if you order 20 things or one thing, they're going to charge you €5 for delivery. Okay. So we ordered a pack of files and the total including delivery was €8. So how much was the pack of files? And you might be thinking, oh, I know the answer. But what we need to do is to be able to do this on a calculator even when the answer doesn't pop into our heads. Okay, so first of all, write it in the language of maths. Okay, so we have 1 pack of files plus delivery equals €8. So that's now written in the language of maths. Okay, then we fill in the bits we know. Okay, so 1 pack of files, we know what delivery is. It said that in the question. So that's €5. So 1 pack of files plus €5 equals €8. Okay, bring everything to one that you don't know to one side and everything you do know to the other. So we have 1 pack of files plus €5. Now to get rid of this €5, if we put minus €5 on both sides of the equals, these two here on the left hand side will cancel each other out. Okay, in the school system you may have learned bring it over the equals and change the sign. That's fine, keep going with that system if you know that already. But if not, we're putting a minus 5 on either side of the equals, and the 2 on the left hand side, the positive 5 and the negative 5 will cancel each other out. Okay, so we end up then with 1 pack of files equals €8 minus €5. 8 minus 5 gives us 3. So we now know that 1 pack of files equals €3. So example 2. We ordered 10 staplers and the total including delivery was €45. How much were each stapler? Okay, so an example 3 is similar, and example 4. I'll just take you through example 3 within this video. Okay, so write it in the language of maths. So 10 staplers plus delivery equals €45. We know what delivery is, we fill in the bits we know. So 10 staplers plus the 5 for delivery equals 45. So then we isolate, bring the things we don't know to one side and everything we do know to the other side. So to get rid of this delivery, this €5, which is along with the staplers, we add a negative 5 to both sides of the equals. So we do that, you can see them highlighted here in red, and so on the left hand side the positive 5 and the negative 5 cancel each other out. Okay, so we then get 10 staplers equals €45 minus €5. So 10 staplers equals €40. But we now need to, we didn't want to know the price of 10 staplers, we wanted to know the price of 1 stapler. So we divide both sides by 10. So 10 divided by 10 gave us 1, and then 40 divided by 10 gave us €4. So 1 stapler equals €4. Okay, that's the end of the video.